Hello, everyone. This is Jeff Walters, Superintendent of Hartford Union High School. In this presentation, I would like to share with you some information about our outdoor facilities project. I would like to take you through the background and needs of the work that needs to be done, the process and timeline, ways in which to gather community feedback, talk about some next steps, and then also share with you opportunities in which you could get some questions answered. I would like to start with the why. Why is it important that this project continue to move forward? First, our track and our tennis courts will not be usable in 2 years or less. They are failing, and our student athletes will not have the opportunity to use them in a very short amount of time. Our outdoor fields do not have sufficient drainage, resulting in games regularly being canceled. There are also usability and safety concerns regarding our outdoor facilities, requiring our students to use neighboring district facilities where those districts have upgraded their facilities in more recent years. In these next few slides, I will share with you some images regarding our outdoor facilities. First, you will see the current track conditions and the significant cracks and deterioration of our track surface. In the next slide, you will see our current tennis courts, again showing significant deterioration and cracks in the playing surfaces. And lastly, you will see the football field behind our building with significant wear and tear on our natural grass playing field. Now, I would like to share with you a timeline of some of the work and conversations that have occurred in the past 6 to 8 months. In April of 2021, our school board and those in attendance received a presentation from R.W. Baird regarding our district's financial situation, as well as the impact of a possible referendum. A month later, a community feedback opportunity was provided, and with just about 500 responses, 80% of the respondents expressed a desire to continue to move the project forward. During the summer and fall, we continued to evaluate and prioritize our options, gather feedback from stakeholders, as well as present additionally to our school board and those in attendance. In the coming 2 months, we will continue to gather input from our community, continue to share the feedback with our board, and ultimately have our school board determine some of our next steps. Now, I would like to share with you a couple of the proposed plans for the outdoor facilities project. I'll start with the plans for behind school. As you can see, there will be 8 brand new tennis courts in the current location of our tennis courts, an adjacent parking lot for handicap accessibility as well as other individuals, a brand new concession restroom facility on the corner of the tennis courts, football and track complex, and that parking lot. Drainage would occur underneath the multi-purpose fields in the back of the lot. Again, the brand new football and track complex with new visitor and home bleachers, as well as press boxes. And then also a square synthetic turf field that would allow us to have 2 softball fields, 1 possible baseball field, and also be used for other students throughout the course of the day, whether it's Phi Ed practice, marching band practice, and more. The next couple of slides speak about the part of the project that's proposed to happen across the street on land that we are in the final stages of closing on in a purchase from Hartford Joint 1. First, you will notice on the corner lot where there are currently some old vacated tennis courts that there will be 8 additional brand new tennis courts along with a pavilion added. This will allow us to continue to serve the growing program of tennis at HUHS as well as meet our community needs. You will also notice that the current football field will become the designated soccer field for our soccer program, both girls and boys. Again, this will be a synthetic turf, which will allow us also to serve our youth organizations interested in younger levels of soccer competition. The cost savings by doing this will allow us to keep the current bleachers as well as a concession stand to serve that facility. In addition to that, you will see the 2 current softball fields will be turned into a full synthetic turf softball field, as well as a synthetic turf infield for the baseball field. Again, as a reminder, we added 2 additional softball fields behind the building. Having access to these 4 fields will allow us to host many youth tournaments and bring in additional revenue to our district. This slide shows you the overall budget for the proposed project. At one point, the overall cost was over $14.5 million, and that number has been whittled down to just over $13.5 million. Please note that the first part of the slide speaks about the complex behind school, and the second part of the slide speaks about the complex across the street. This slide speaks about our fundraising opportunities available through the Orioles Onward campaign, which we kicked off on August 20th. Whether it's purchasing naming rights, sponsorships, or legacy bricks, we appreciate your consideration and are grateful to those of you who have contributed to the project to this point. This is a really important slide. I have heard from many people who have seen this information and are appreciative of the transparency in which we've shared the tax impact should this referendum move forward. Hypothetically, if we were to go to referendum for $10 million and a community member owns a $300,000 home, the preliminary estimates would have a monthly impact of $3.75 per month, or an average yearly impact of $45. Another scenario, if we were to go to referendum for $8 million and you owned a $400,000 house, the average monthly impact would be $4 a month, or $48 a year. This slide shows the mill rate over the past 7 years in regards to the impact on the local taxpayers. The line graph at the top shows the 10 union high schools, which again, as a reminder, Hartford Union High School is one of 10 union high schools in the state. Their average mill rate was $3.87 in 2015-16 and has declined to $3.23 in 2020 and 21. We still do not have that information for 21-22. The bar graph represents Hartford Union High School's mill rate. It was exactly the average back in 2015-16. And now, as you see in 2021-22, it's $2.52, significantly below the average. That is a reduction of $1.35 in the past 7 years. Another way to look at this would be in 2020-21. Hartford Union High School's mill rate was $2.86. The average Union High School mill rate was $3.23. Again, 37 cents below the average of all the union high schools in the state. If you think back to the previous slide, if we were to pass a $10 million referendum and pursue that as an option to fund this project, that would have an increase of 15 cents on the mill rate. So therefore, working off of the $2.52 mill rate for 21-22, if it were to increase 15 cents for the $10 million referendum, it would go up to $2.67, which again is 19 cents below even the mill rate last year for Hartford Union High School, and again, significantly below the average Union High School mill rate. This slide shows you some of our next steps. There will be a town hall meeting at the high school on December 1st at 6 p.m. to answer any further questions or hear of your feedback. There'll be another feedback opportunity that will be shared out with you between December 8th and the 17th. There'll be another round of town halls on December 8th at 4:30 and 5:30 p.m. This feedback will be provided to our school board on December 20th. There's another school board meeting on January 17th, in which our school board will make a determination about the opportunity to fund this project by going to referendum with a question to appear on the ballot on April 5th, 2022. Now we're going to move into some of the renderings that have been developed to show you what the project possibly could look like. The first rendering is the plaza or the entryway to the football and track complex, and you'll see the tennis courts are off to your right-hand side. This next slide again shows the entryway to the football and track complex with the tennis courts off to the right-hand side. Again, this also would be the location where any legacy bricks that are purchased and designated to this part of the complex would be located. This next rendering shows you kind of a bird's eye view, again, overlooking the football and track complex, hovering over the old concession stand, which is in the bottom part of the photo. The new concession family restroom facility is located just to the left of the old complex, and also way off in the left corner, you can see again the plaza and entryway to the complex. The next slide just shows a different perspective of part of the football and track complex. Again, the field events are off to the left-hand side of the picture. The new concession stand is at the top center of the picture, and the entryway is to the top right of the image. The next slide shows the rendering of the baseball field across the street. Again, a reminder, the infield of the baseball field would be turf, the outfield would be natural grass. And you can see in this image the designated bleachers along with the mini press box that will sit behind home plate of this diamond. This slide shows you both fields that would occur across the street. Top left is the baseball field that we just spoke of. Center right is the softball field. Both fields have mini press boxes along with designated bleachers. And the home plate shape behind both mini press boxes would be for legacy bricks that would be purchased by individuals and designated to this complex would be found in that location. The next slide shows you the 8 new tennis courts along with a pavilion that would be built across the street on the corner parcel. And lastly, the final slide shares with you our contact information as well as QR codes for you to consider how you can support this project as well as learn more about these exciting possibilities at Hartford Union High School. As always, thank you for listening and go Orioles.